No tak jo, tak jsme live, je to další Guestlist, pondělí 21:00, moje maličkost DJ Pufas. A dneska, než začneme, tak jenom řeknu pár věcí. A to je to, že děkujeme všem, kteří nám občas koupí kafe. Kafe máme rádi a vlastně děláme to ze svého volného času, i když prostě žádný nemáme. Tak vždycky takhle v pondělí večer se tady sejdeme a zkoušíme něco. Tak a dneska, počkejte, já si to tady takhle můžu s tím pohrát. Výborně. A dneska zkusíme to maličko jinak. A vlastně Chuck Diesel, který tady bude hostem, tak je člověk, který tady žije nějakou dobu, vysílá na rádiu Color, vysílá na rádiu Slowdown a my jsme tak měli takovou debatu v rádiu a bavili jsme se právě o hip-hopu, jako jak on vnímá ten český rap a jaký má pohled, když prostě třeba tady ty lidi nerozumějí lyrics a za něco hrozně bojujou, ale vlastně vůbec nevědějí, o čem to je, jak kouká na lidi, který prostě, já nevím, nosejí copánky a celková ty rozdíly mezi Amerikou a Evropou a je vlastně hip-hop jenom jako hudba, kterou posloucháme, protože se nám prostě líbí a neřešíme její obsah stejně jako někdo může poslouchat kteroukoliv jinou hudbu a tak dále. Tak o tom dneska si tady takhle pokecáme a každopádně, kdybyste měli prostě jakýkoliv dotazy, tak pište a jenom asi na konci řeknu to, že samozřejmě mě je 46, jako nezačal jsem jako ze školou, ale vždycky všem říkám prostě za mě se ještě snad dodělávala ruština a vlastně k té angličtině jsem se dostal až po němčině, protože jsem byl 2 roky v Německu, tím se tady vůbec nechci vymlouvat, ale vždycky říkám všem, je jedno, jak mluvíš, musíš rozumět, nebát se, protože to rozšiřuje ty možnosti, takže pokud tady bude nějaký profi angličtinář, tak se třeba bude občas smát, ale jak vždycky říkám, mně je to vlastně úplně jedno, důležitý je se prostě domluvit, nebát se prostě rozumět těm textům, překládat si je a tak dále a tak dále. Takže pojďme na to a jak říkám, když tak prostě dávejte klidně otázky. So, Chuck, this was the intro, so now we can finally start. Are you freeze or are you okay? Okay. Chuck? I try. Yes. Sometimes you freeze, you know. So okay. I hope I hope it will be okay. So Chuck, this is the live podcast on YouTube called Guestlist, and once again you are freezed.
Yeah. Okay, let me put.
Okay, but now I hope it will be okay. So first of all, Chuck Diesel, you live in Prague for
13 years now.
13 years. Okay.
With Trit Not Let.
Okay. Not Let, perfect. So you are originally from
Chicago, the city of wind.
Okay, so maybe some people never heard about you. So let's introduce yourself, and especially what's your connection with music? Because I know you was the manager, PR guy for some big names in US. So let's talk.
Chuck Diesel. I've been living here in Prague, or I say the Czech Republic because I'm in southern East Praha district. I've been here for 13 years. My connection to music it goes back to the 80s. It goes back to, I've always been chasing music, B-sides. I mean, back in the day, you know, just like vinyl, when cassettes were out, I've always loved music and I've always been chasing music. I grew up in Chicago as a househead. I've been clubbing and parties since I was 12. And I've always just loved good music. And then in my 20s, I'm still clubbing. And I got to the point, I don't want to pay for this anymore. and then I went into like club promotion. I mean, well, I won't say that. I was doing sales, and my friends in 2000, I grouped up with some friends, and we booked Jay-Z in 2000. and we started a marketing and PR company called Across the Board. And from there, I became a record rep. And then that's how it got deeper because as
Uh, sorry, Chuck.
Mhm.
What does it mean? Recon rep.
Record rep,
Yes.
I was handling distribution in Chicago. I My job was to maintain, and through the record labels I worked, I had 250 DJs that I would service within the Midwest. So for Chuck to understand that, so I was servicing, let's say if Chicago was Prague, I was going as far as Warsaw, um, Krakow to the east, Vienna to the south, and let's say uh, not not as far as Frankfurt to the west. And so my job was to through Def Jam, Epic, TVT, Jive, Capitol, and the rest of them. My job was to make sure they were playing the records, to break records, because that's what a lot of DJs don't do now, in my opinion. And that's what I started DJing to police DJs, because once I started DJing, I could tell if a DJ was playing my records because I would ask, what are they blending it with? What are they playing before and after? And it's just expanded. And now I'm here in Czech, and now I have these radio shows, and just started a new blog about music, and it's just been added on. It's been just
Yes.
the Jenga,
Yeah.
just getting further and further with it. But
Yes.
overall, I have a love for music.
Perfect. So let's talk about the Chicago, because Czech people love the, like, okay, we know East Coast, we know West Coast, and from the Chicago, maybe young generation listen to some drill shit, and some old people know people like Common, the fucking High Hitler, Kanye West, etc., etc. So,
He apologized. He apologized.
uh, yes, you can clip on fucking TikTok everything, and it looks like apologize. I know, I know. So, what can Czech and Slovak people, hi DJ Spinats, know about Chicago? Like, maybe someone knows it's a bird of house music, yes, but the hip hop too. Like, young generation maybe knows Chief Keef,
Yeah,
Chance the Rapper, etc., etc.
um, let's see. You have to start with like the foundation. So like, let's start with Chicago. We're we're a mixture of the East Coast and the South. So you have to understand, like, going back to like the Jim Crow, the slavery to mentality. The South was really bad, and Chicago is directly north of the Dirty South. So why is Chicago known as the House of Blues, the House of Jazz? We're north, far north, because back in the day in the 20th century, most of the artists, they ran away from the Deep South and they went to create new lives in Chicago. So we talk like the East Coasters, but we punish and we take respect seriously like the South. And the South is really serious about respect. So we're interesting feed or dialect if you come to our city, because our mentality is pure Midwest, Black Midwest, because we're a hybrid of two different cultures.
Okay, okay. So, I direct to this topic of this podcast. You mentioned Jim Crow, but the question is, does everybody knows in Czech Republic what the Jim Crows means? So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
you know.
the question is, they listen to hip hop, but it means you have to read Malcolm X and Martin Luther King books and watch the movies, or you only like the hype, the music,
Well,
you
because
know?
that's the big thing about Chicago. We're like New York is 3 times bigger than us, but we're probably one of the biggest north. We're probably just as strong as far as Black Power. You know, if you go back to all the civil rights movements and things like that, most of that went through us because we have that bond with the South. And not to say that New York and the East Coast doesn't, but we have a stronger bond to a certain degree. And that's the interesting thing of like you're talking about it like, oh, it's hard. I have these like it's
I
hard
know,
because I,
I
I
know.
I do
That's
public
the
speaking
reason why you're
about
here,
this.
so
It's it's great in the sense of like in the Czech when I meet so many young people and it offends me at time when the only thing they know about my city is O Block. You know, we're Chicago. We weren't considered violent until Trump started talking about that.
yeah. They may
You
be
know,
Oblak and Obama, that's all.
yeah, and it's like yeah, yeah, some common, some kids, yeah, they probably no chance. They probably no
Yes.
chance. And then we got Kels. He's in prison, but he's still the king
And,
of R&B.
by the way, who was the, guy who was killed maybe 2, 3 years ago? Like drill
You talking about
kid?
King Von?
Yes,
Was it,
yes, exactly. So I think the young generation in Czech Republic know this name, King Kwan. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's sad. It's the and I feel bad. I feel bad when I come out here when I live here in Europe and people glorify these drill rappers. You don't want this trauma that we grew up with. It's like these kids are they love it, but it was like, have you ever come home and seen brains on the street? It was like this. It's like it's kind of for us, for me as a grown man, it's like see it as people interpret as novelty, as something
yeah,
they watch on Netflix. But it was like most of these things that these drill rappers talk about. That's one thing about Chicago. It's not fictional.
yeah, yeah,
Unfortunately, it's not fictional. A lot of these rappers are not doing. A lot of these rappers talk a lot of things. The There are a lot of drill rappers dead, and it's because of their music. When they say the ops is real.
yeah,
The
yeah.
opposition, it's like I'll break it down because I feel, but everybody should know. If they listen to drill, they should know what the ops are. The opposition. You know.
Uh, some MCs in Czech Republic put the ups to their lyrics, so I think they know what is
Yeah,
it,
yeah. It's
you know?
and
Uh,
it's funny here
so
because I don't. Mhm.
yeah, it's too many questions because you say the drama. What's the drama? I'm the white
Trauma,
ass from the
trauma,
Europe.
trauma. I said the
Trauma.
trauma,
Yeah,
the
sorry,
trauma,
sorry. I'm
the
tired. I
trauma.
woke up at 4, so sorry.
It's
What's
the
the
trauma.
drama? Yeah. What
You
does it
know
mean?
the.
I'm the white ass from the Europe. So what's the
I
drama?
mean, the trauma of before I was 20 of going to like 10 funerals of my friends. The trauma of like literally like I was saying, coming home and seeing girls crying because there's brains on the street because somebody got shot and killed. And it's like the trauma. That's what I'm saying. They're glorifying our trauma. And it's kind of difficult to like that. You want to glorify the murder that we witness or have to go through.
Yeah. And I think Chicago is still has the highest number in the states.
Well, no, no, no. That's the funny part.
Okay.
When they broke down that study, it's only cities over 1 million people, and there's 4 cities.
Hmm.
Because I'm from Chicago, and like I was saying, it comes from the South. You can go to St. Louis, you can go to Memphis,
Yes.
You know, they're the same. That's coming up. Like, so if you go from New Orleans, if you're all the way down, so can I give you the map? So down on the map, say let's start at Split. It's Croatia. So that'd be
Uh-huh.
around New Orleans. So then you start coming straight up. And then you get to Memphis would be like what's the Slovenia, Ljubljanati, Lub I can't pronounce it.
Ljubljana?
Yeah.
Ljubljana?
So
Yeah.
that'd be like Memphis
Okay.
coming up to Prague, where Prague would be Chicago. Memphis, oh, oh, the murder
Yeah.
rate there. Oh, it makes
Yeah.
us look, you
And
know,
I
then
yeah,
go
and I think it
Salzburg. Salzburg would be like St. Louis.
yes.
The
Yes.
murder rate there is
Yes.
ridiculous. You know, and it was like, but Chicago, we're the major city. And the thing about it is, like I said, we have that South connection, the South punish. You know, like my favorite quote is Little Bootsy. I'm not a fan of Little Bootsy, but this quote, you know, somebody told Little Bootsy, you know, he's from New Orleans, oh, he's from Louisiana. And they're like, Little Bootsy, the South sucks at battle rapping. Why aren't there any battle rappers down south? And Bootsy was like, battle rap? Disrespect in that nation like the New Yorkers do? Somebody will kill your grandmother, kill your whole family. You can't talk to people like that down south. And that's what people don't understand about the South. The South got guns, lots of guns, and they take disrespect really serious.
Okay.
So it's a whole different, you know. So it's like when people say Chicago, it's like, man, go down south and talk
Yeah.
that smack, talk that.
Yeah. 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 And I know because I was 12, 15 times in the Bay. So you see some small cities like Richmond, and it's crazy, you know. And another which people don't know who's exist, you know. So stuff like that. So you bring a lot of questions because now I think if you talk about the guns, I remember when we did interview with the Opio from Hieroglyphics,
Hmm.
and he's talk about the Oakland crime, the guns, the crack era. Who brings the crack era? It's a CIA,
Yeah.
etc., etc. And he told me the quote like they put the guns to the trains, but brothers go and grab it. You know. So, what do you think
No,
about
it's the same.
this
It's the
theory?
same thing in Chicago. In Chicago, I mean, like when I was home 15 years ago, y- kids would talk about, and people would talk about, they would always find just like boxes of guns in an alley. You know, like we don't got alleys here, but just behind your house, the service street behind your house, uh, kids would find boxes of guns,
Hmm.
and you know
Hmm.
they were planted there because our violence feeds the justice system. Because these murders, these crimes, these felonies, you need lawyers. It feeds our, you know, it's a, you know, we're America, and you know, people in Europe think they're capitalism. Europe is socialist capitalist. We're capitalists and we hate socialism. Though our country is based off socialism, most Americans don't know that they live in socialism, but our
And do
basis.
you think it's a still, because I think California is left as fuck now?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. No, I mean, it's yeah. Chicago's always been Democrat, but it's it's a lot different in Chicago because our city's really, really segregated. Everybody stays in their own box, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's
Uh, Another question. It's still segregation exists in United States. Like what's the word? The ground. Uh, if you build a city and you put the wall to the lines, What's the word for this one?
Oh,
Ground.
we call in Chicago we call it redlining.
Yes, exactly. It still exists in 2026.
Well, our city was built like that, so
Yes,
the thing
it's a
is,
history.
it does exist because the thing is, in our city, they have like l- a little less than a kilometer of industrial. Most of the, there's a buffer. There's a buffer zone between the neighborhoods.
Yes,
And those industrial places, regardless of how the neighborhoods get gentrified, those buffer industrial areas still exist. So, and then like with Chicago, our train system, our train system now with gentrification, it's a lot different, but it's just pushed out. Just like
yeah.
people think that Chicago's so dangerous. If you're a tourist and you went to Chicago, you wouldn't know where to find the danger.
I was there. It's a beautiful city. It's a
Yeah,
completely different than fucking LA, San Francisco, Oakland, Seattle, and Portland, for example. It's a beautiful city with a beautiful city center. The river, I know you don't call it a river, but the lake, I know. But it looks like a river during the city. You see the fucking tram hotel, etc., etc. It's like,
well, no, that's
uh,
you're talking about the Chicago River. But if you go
yes,
to the lake
yeah, yeah, I
and
know,
you can't
I
see
know.
nothing.
It's a lake bigger than Germany,
Well,
maybe.
it's like I tell people, it's about as big as the Adriatic Sea. If you go down to
Uh-huh.
Croatia, that water that you're in, whether you're on the,
Yeah,
the other side is Italy, that's as big. That our lake is about that size.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So sometimes I have the questions when I am in the States, but I'm a little bit scared to ask my friends in Oakland, for example. So
Hmm.
one question is existing the way how these things fixed finally? Like it will be still the racism, still the rich people and poor people, still the crime. Because what's the solution? Like,
Well, it's a hard fix because we have classism. So
yes,
just take it like here that most people who own property here, in the U.S. you really don't own the property. You have to pay property tax. And property tax is another division procedure in place or protocol in place. So say that you do, you inherit your grandmother's cottage and it's worth 10 million crowns. Yeah, 10 million crowns.
yeah,
So what it can you afford the taxes? If you live in a rich neighborhood, if you live in America and you have a house that's $3 million, you're going to be looking at 50 to 60 to $70,000 of property tax per year. Can you
yes,
afford that? If
yeah.
you can't
And for
afford that, you
example,
got to sell the. Mhm.
yeah, and for example, in the LA or in the Bay, if there are fires every year, the the tax is so more because you live in the extreme area. So
Oh,
it's
no, and then you're talking about another factor. You're talking about home insurance.
home insurance, yes, home insurance, etc., etc. So it depends because, for example, if I'm in Sacramento, the fuel costs $5. If I go to fucking Detroit, it's $2, for example. It's completely different. Every state is completely different.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you gotta respect it it's like the European Union. Our
exactly,
states, our states are states, just like your countries are in America. Even though we are one country, each state is like a country in the EU. They
yes,
have all their taxes are different. Everything is, like there's no income tax in Texas. Like a lot of people go down to a lot of that's why a lot of businesses are moving around because everybody wants to get out of California because they have the highest taxes. And then you can go to places like Florida and Texas where the taxes are low. So yeah, it's
yeah.
just the fact that the only difference is we all speak English.
Yeah, but back to my question. It's possible to fix, like, for example, okay, maybe some politics decided to put more schools to the neighborhood, put more free libraries to the neighborhood, put more pigs to the neighborhood, you know.
Who fix whom? Fix whom?
I I I see, but you know, if you think about where is the problem and how to
Mhm.
fix, you know, so what's the solution? Like, it's a school
Like
system, it's an insurance system,
it's
only
drug
racism.
system. It's all of the above. It's capitalism because
I know.
the whole thing about it is how do you maintain a strong capitalist country? You need a really good poverty system. You need poor people to shit on for capitalism. So like when you say that fix, it's
I know
it's
it's
the
a hard question, but if you try to find something, you know, like
well
try, only
well
try,
you want
you
me to give
know?
you the answer? Well, the answer for black people, what we talk about all the time is is segregation. Is going back to like before the civil rights movement when we were self-efficient. Because the thing about it is, you know, and I tell people this, the civil rights movement was the worst thing that happened for black communities. Now, and let me say another statement because it won't be understood. It's been very beneficial for black individuals, but as our communities, the civil rights movement has brought us down because we used to have our own doctors, our own plumbers. We used to have everything for ourselves. And then once they allowed us to get them in our fold, we ran to spend our money with them. And then it's in the sense of then we can't have businesses, we don't get loans. Other people are positioned to make
Yeah,
money in our
yeah,
neighborhood. So it's kind of a hard thing to say how, if you understand that our government, how do you outthink the think tank of America?
yeah, yeah,
So it's like our government is literally working against us. So it's kind of hard to say how do you do it when you have the United States government think tanking against us.
yeah. But for example, how hard is to get a mortgage for the black people in the United States?
I mean, it's not necessarily hard, but what are your interest rates going to be? That's the
Mm-hmm,
question.
mm-hmm,
That's the question. They're like a few years ago, I have a lot of friends who are realtors, and just the simple fact that like they brought a realtor in, and the black family didn't realize, they had a nice house, and they had all their pictures up, they had black art up and stuff like that. Then the bid they got was really low, and they couldn't figure it out. And somebody told them, "You need to take all that black stuff out and just have it open." After they took all the art or pictures out that signified that a black person lived there or a black family lived there, the next person who came in was 20% higher
yeah,
for the
yeah,
same, just the aesthetics of who lived there. So it's like, when you say that, it's like
yeah,
we're never stop fighting. But the whole thing is like, for a lot of people, they do not. It's just for a lot of people, they cannot buy into the fact that literally our country is against us. And it was like they were, oh, Chuck, you're just exaggerating, and
yeah, yeah.
I can talk about it for days.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked you was because when I'm in the States, I sometimes have the debate with some people, you know, and some people hates black people in the United States, you know, and they always told me, "Don't go to fucking Oakland," you know, "Don't go," you know, and I usually say it like, "Okay, but it's possible to do something for better future," you know, because now when I came first time in the United States, it was like, wow, beautiful country, you know, San Francisco,
Well,
beautiful. Now in San Francisco, don't go there. It's like some people move to Oakland. Gentrification, it's on the top, you know, and you see crack on the streets, you know, everywhere, like everywhere in the city center. In the city center is fucking IKEA, but behind that, it's some security with the guns, you know, and it's a normal on the main street in San Francisco now, you know. And if I have some debate with some people, they only say, "Hey," because now I see like the people are, you know, divide. Like you see the flag on the house or not, and you know if I on the left or on the right. So sometimes it's crazy to me to understand to these people.
and you know, and now America's gotten even wilder because Trump has given racists, he's empowered them to be free because you know it used to be taboo to be racist, you know, and I tell people I appreciate it because it's harder to defend somebody trying to stab you in the back. It's easier when you can see somebody coming from the front with a knife. So I tell people it's like don't, you know, it's like unite. You had people standing right next to you for years who hated you, but they were conditioned to not say it and just secretly undermine you. So
Yeah,
now the racists are happy to I hate, you know, I hate you, you know. It's like it's a
yeah. So now
I
you see your enemy on the streets right now. So it's not like, for example, skinheads in Czech Republic. You know, 20 years ago they have the no hairs, some stuff, and now they are people like me. You know, so it's how how to,
they
you
they've
know.
grown up. They've evolved. They've
Yes,
evolved.
exactly, exactly. And uh, when we spoke on the Sundown radio and we had the interview, we talked about like hip hop. Czech people loves hip hop. What do you think when you see people like, for example, with the braids, with the bandanas, and going to some shows like Dead Press, but know nothing about the lyrics and everything, you know, because if you because it's very easy now. You can watch the interviews, you can read the interviews, you can watch the fucking YouTube every day with the Dead Press, but you don't know shit about them, you know. So maybe I sometimes, maybe my bad. Sometimes I always say it. Maybe you are from them the white evil. They are here only for the bag. That's all.
It's and the thing about it is I I travel and I've worked in the music industry. I get it. It all depends on about the person's mindset. Um I see it. You know, like there's two words that the average black person who doesn't like it will say: culture vulture.
Yes.
That's the those are the two biggest words, but I see it as the appreciation. And just, you know, I see the appreciation of it. They don't know any better. You know, it was like for a lot of black people who don't travel, who don't understand because especially out here, it's Europe. You know, it's the whole you guys don't understand what's happened in America. You know the history, you know, I learned I'm black Americans, we're still learning about all the horrible things that happened in slavery. It's just like it's like what do you call the person who's in Egypt and politics. You know, they're still digging up and finding new skeletons of evil that we didn't know about. So when for me out here, because it's all different. It's not just hip hop. It's every black culture out here. The blues scene out here, the jazz scene out here, the house scene out here. It's all, you know, for them it's love. Sometimes I, I feel bad though because sometimes people are coming out here and they're teaching to make money
Yes.
and
Yes.
they're lying, they don't understand the culture, but they're one step ahead because they know the people they're teaching know nothing. And as
Hmm?
long as they sound legit, they can make money by understanding a little more about the culture than they do. So, but overall, I don't have any problem with it, but a lot of Americans have a problem with it.
Yeah.
A lot of Black Americans have a problem with it.
I don't have problem with this too because, like I say, the opposite side, yeah, people love this music, and it's a similar. When I went to see the fucking Iron Maiden, it was 65,000 people, and maybe they don't know nothing about their lyrics, you know, and they only love the music. That's
Yeah,
all. But sometimes I think you listen to hip hop, it's about the lyrics for me, but you don't understand the shit, you know? So I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I'm lost and I'm envy for a young generation. They grew up with the English. So if you now go to fucking see the
okay. The
GID,
thing,
Travis Scott, they know the
that's the
lyrics.
beauty. That's the beauty of it, and that's why I don't get mad because people make it seem like I talk to poets here, and you know, and they talk about, oh, it's hip hop and da da da. I was like, hip hop is probably one of the most complex poetry that you ever come across. It was like the metaphors that the metaphors that happen in America. Some people talk regional. A lot of the metaphor, a lot of the rap Americans. A Chicago rapper talking about Chicago, oh, a West Coaster is not going to understand what he's talking about.
Yes.
So it's like I can't take it. You know, it's like I can't be mad at I can't be mad at them because their understanding is even worse because they've never. A lot of them have never been to America, don't understand the culture of America. So how
But
can I be mad?
the question is, it's necessary or I like this music. I only listen to Czech guys or maybe some people from Germany, France, UK. You know, it's music. It's like, okay, I like the Nirvana. I bought the guitar and I will be the rock star. So it's necessary to know something about the history from the
It
States.
should. It should be. It should be. It should be. It should be. But the first time that happened to me, and I got really mad, was a Czech beatboxer. And he was like, "I'm a beatboxer. I love beatboxing, but you know, it's like beatboxing doesn't have anything to do with hip hop." And you know, it was like, it's like really, you know, it was like, so you're a child, and you're saying that you you grew up in the household, but your mother's not important. And so I get it when that's the difference where I have the problem is when they take the culture and they say it's theirs. And they have,
Mhm.
it's not about them not understanding, it's the fact that they don't have any respect.
Yes. Yes.
That's the problem that I have. If you enjoying it, da da da, you enjoy it, it came from high melanin black people and you have no problem with us. Dope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have the problem when you say that it's yours and I do this and it's my style and you don't give any respect that you're emulating. You heard this sound, you loved it. Now you're making your own sound, but you're sampling.
Yes.
You're not creating it from scratch. And that's the problem that I have. And that's that's any time. A comedian, if you take a comedian's jokes, he's gonna be pissed. James Brown. James Brown used to have people on the payroll just to listen to music because he knew people were stealing his drums. So for me, it's about the respect.
Exactly.
And it's
My problem sometimes is like, I remember Kendrick show in O2 Arena, in Prague, and
I was there.
when I see the fucking whole O2 Arena singing like, "We hate Popo, they kill us on the streets for show," and Americans don't understand the Kendrick lyrics, And my question was like, "Do you know what is Popo, by the way?" They cheer like, "We hate Popo," and I say, "Okay, maybe it's a popular." It's like if you are a fan on fucking what's the famous now who fucks with the guy from the Kansas City Chiefs. Mm-mm.
Taylor Swift? No.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Maybe you are the fan of Taylor Swift. It's the same. It's like pop. Like you are the fan, like from the TV. You see the show and you are the fan. So maybe it's the same. But for me, especially in this music, in type of music, and maybe it's a music or it's a culture. Oh, never ending question. So when I see these people, like, really, you say, all right, you know the lyrics, but you don't know shit about the history, the context, everything. When the George Floyd thing happened in Prague, was like some small Black Lives Matter, like runs on the
No,
street.
I'm a photographer. So
Yeah.
no, I covered that. There was in the square, there was about 2,000 people in the
Okay.
square. There was about
Okay.
2,000 people in the square when they had the main demonstration.
Yeah.
Uh, I got some great pictures from that. But yeah, there were, but it was a very diverse crowd.
Okay.
It was a very diverse crowd that was there. And then and then with that, because I deal with human rights aspects of different
Uh-huh.
cultures here. So from the Roma activists, so
Perfect.
there was a lot more than just average Czech people when that George Floyd came here. There was everybody. It was everybody who felt they were being discriminated. They came out for that George Floyd. So it was very
Okay.
interesting, and they were, it was a lot of mixture of uh, African Czechs and da da da. So it was a
Expats.
really
Yeah.
good. It was a really good thing because Czech people could talk to other people who were diverse but still were Czech, and they could speak the language and have a conversation. So that was a really, when you bring that up, that was a really interesting event as far as Czech. That was because people could actually, that was something different because Czech people could actually be educated in Czech.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, because I only see on the internet, I said, what the fuck? Because when I see stuff like that, I usually say, okay, some young woman try to be, independent and be peaceful to everything, around the world. So, okay, thank you so much for that, for this information.
No,
Perfect.
that, but
By the
that,
way, what do you think about the Black Lives Matter, but not the meaning, but the company behind that and what happened with this?
from when I did my research, it's 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 so many divisions. It's not necessarily united. It's like saying Christianity, and then you got all these churches. Like
Yeah.
all the Black Lives Matter depended on some were official, some were getting money. You know, it was like, so it all depends on, when I did my research, they weren't a bond. It was a lot of people running with opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then, you know, so I didn't, I like,
Opportunity to raise some money or steal some money.
yeah, both. Both, you know, because you know, like I'm not mad at them. Like, some people took an opportunity. Some people, you know, like in America with NGOs, a lot of people. I have friends who run NGOs, and they pay themselves wonderfully, but they work hard for the streets, and I don't have a
Perfect.
problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. They're working a real job, so the chunk that they take for themselves, I'm not mad at that because the results they get. But then you have others who saw it as like, man, they giving all this money to Black Lives Matter, you know, and they're like, I can do the minimum, and I'm gonna take the money
Yeah,
for
yeah,
myself. So
yeah.
it you know, and that's the thing today. Most people don't do research.
Give me a second. Koukám, že tady jste nějaký lidi, jestli máte nějaký otázky, a chtěl bych se takhle zeptat, protože je to taková hozená rukavice, vlastně pobavit se o tom rapu, třeba otázek, na kterých jste se vždycky, jak by se říká, báli zeptat, tak klidně tady pokladejte dotazy, don't be shy. Perfect. Back to the interview. My another question is, you are the photographer. You was on many events in Czech Republic. How you feel this Czech rap? Someone calls crap. What do you think about it? Like, if you see some young guys or old guys, young drill guys, guys with the braids, guys, they pretend they are from Chicago or they are from Compton, they are from UK, etc., etc.
It's I you know, it's like I said, I I feel sorry for Hansa that you know, no, I don't feel sorry for them because in America, a lot of these rappers are pretending also.
Yes.
So it's they're following a prototype. So it's
Tekashi
like,
69, very famous in Czech and Slovakia, you know.
yeah, you know, so it's like, you know, it's like, I'm gonna say a name, you know, like I saw like the only young cat I know who's doing really, he seems to be talking kind of hard. What's it? I think he's Maniac.
Okay.
Uh, and you know the style, you know, when I see him, you know, because he's at some of the events when I see him, and it's like he's dressed like a white New Yorker, you know, and it's just like with the boots, you know, it's like, because for me, I'm people watching, and that's what I enjoy going to these festivals and stuff like that. I'm checking their fits to see who they're identifying as. You know, that's my first thing. Who are you trying to dress like? Like, oh, you
Yes.
got the Timbs on. Oh, okay, you got the Timbs. Okay, yeah, the Timbs in New York hat. Okay, you're a New Yorker. You know, it's like, so it's interesting. I you know, for the most part, my wife lived in Chicago for 8 years before we moved here. So
And
I used to have my wife listen to the
she is
music.
Czech, by the way. She is Czech for the people.
So, so,
Yeah, yeah.
Moja žena Česka. Um, but when I used to have her like be my, she won't do it anymore, but used to be so embarrassed. She used to be so embarrassed when she, you know, Chuck, they don't understand. Because my wife used to be terrified. Like when I ran a promotion company, I used to be in clubs, uh, and you know, like it's the difference. Like in the it's just like Prague. It's like if I did the parties in Prague or Chicago, that's okay. But like if I was doing the Prague and the concert in Munich, you know, 45 minutes outside the city, anything could happen. Anything could happen, you know. And so, like, she was like, "Oh, they talk about these things. They don't understand what really happens." You know, you
Yes.
can just watch the news. You just go to just go to any American city and watch the 10 o'clock news, and count how many murders happened that day, or like on Monday of a Sunday night watching the news and them telling about how in the summertime how many murders happened over the course of the weekend. You
But the
know,
question is if you are watching Fox News or CBS, you know, so it depends.
no. See that? No. You're talking about national. When they
Okay,
talk local,
sorry. Yeah.
you're talking national. They all have their local affiliates. And murders with local, there is no way to avoid murder. You know, it's like
Yeah.
on the local side, when it's just the city, oh, murder is going to be it's going to be 10 minutes. If it's going to be a third of the show. You know, just the drama, the trauma that's been happening in the city. And then the worst thing is when the kids get out of school. Oh,
Perfect.
it's the worst thing in the world when the kids get out of school, because
Yes.
kids
Yes.
the kids have no morals today.
Okay. So now I share the screen and show one of the video. So let me show. Exactly. So now, do you see this video?
They're breaking into a store. What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. What?
Over
Where?
20 suspects, 1 million gone.
Where did this happen?
San Ramon, and I think it's near to LA. And I think it's a normal in the Bay or in the Cali. So it's a normal.
Recently, I saw in the last couple of years, last summer, like our strip is called Magnificent Mile. You probably walk down it, Michigan Avenue from it's called Magnificent Mile, and it's where all the highest brands and da da da, and people feel it's safe because it's Magnificent Mile. It's all these places, but just like that, a couple of the stores got hit really hard. So yeah, it's it's
The reason why I show it was sometimes I think people are celebrating like that's the rap. Go, grab it, make some money, fuck the system, you know? So it's crazy. The another stuff, like for example, this one. What do you say about this?
it's really choppy.
Okay, sorry.
I think I heard. Did he say speed?
No.
Okay, so
Uh, it's a cipher sounds. He talking about gay shit. Like white people see the gay shit and the black people. What's the difference? You know. So like white people dancing behind you on the toilet with dick in your hand and say wow, and maybe black people never do it. So that
we
was the
some
joke.
guy stuff.
What?
You mean guy stuff? Like guys doing?
Yeah. Exactly.
um, no, when you say that, I was like that. The only time I've seen stuff like that, that's like That's like white fraternity stuff that I've only witnessed stuff like that. It's n- no, if it was something like that, like grown black men doing stuff like that, nah, that would have been like teenage, early college.
Yeah, yeah.
But
No way. No way. Okay.
grown men, yeah. So,
Okay. Another question, because I usually listen to some US hip hop, and I usually listen to a lot of US podcast about the music, and it's usually like, why people doing this? Like Post Malone is culture vulture, and sometimes my problem is I don't say black people and white people. I say people. So
well,
what?
it's America. It's race is a
Okay.
construct. Race is a construct of
And by the way, I don't have problem with that. But in every podcast, it's like, yes, but he's the white guy. He's the white rapper. Like stuff like this. And it's not about the Post Malone, but another guys. Or it's like normal to say white people.
yeah.
And we are black and we don't do it like that and stuff like that. So
Well,
sometimes I'm a little bit
just,
confused.
just imagine, I'm a black American, or like I nowadays I might say more. I'm high melanin. I'm a high melanin American. But the thing about it is just the same thing. Black people in America, we got a problem. Africans ain't black for us. We don't want that. We are not the same. That term African American, you that's not a term that I identify from, and that's not a term that if
Yeah.
you call me African American, that's not me. The dude who moves from Nigeria who becomes an American citizen, he's African American. I'm a foundational Black American. So for us, we take it a little, so it's the race
Yeah.
thing is really huge in America because
Yeah.
we're a big melting pot. And now, like, look at the attack of the Latinos. And then that's the biggest thing. Slaves are the Americas. The Latino blacks, they're not. They could be darker than me, but they're. Oh no, Chuck, no. I'm Dominican. I'm not black. The slave. The slave DNA is not in you. The African DNA is not in you. Okay, it's like so. It's part of our country. It's part of the Americas. The slave trade and the hate of black people overall. It's up and down. It's up and
Mhm.
down. I still want to go to Brazil because that's where the most black people are in the Americas. The Portuguese took the most Africans to Brazil. So, but like, I mean, it's still culture, it's still fighting. All of it. We all have our own music, but none of us are together, and that's the whole thing. It makes it easier. The white, the black, like because in America, you most people probably seen Gangs in New York. It's a classic old movie from like the 19th century. All the Europeans in America hated each other, but they all bonded to hate us. and that's why it's white and black. Then
Yeah.
before you were Italian, you were Czech, you were Russian, you were Yugoslavian, da da da. But
Poland.
they all
Yes.
came together to become white to hate us. So it's like it goes back to it like the history. And
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me, I study American history because it allows you to tell stories.
Yeah. And you are not only one who told me I'm not the African American. I'm American. And sometimes, like I said, people who loves hip hop, they have the tattoo. I love hip hop, and they live in fucking Humpolet. Say African American, and maybe tomorrow I will go buy the fucking daishiki, and stuff like that. So sometimes it's funny. I don't hate it, but sometimes I'm a little bit confused because the young generation, like we said, they speak English very well,
Hmm.
but the generation like 35 years old and more, that we call the first or second generation hip hop heads in Czech Republic, they usually don't speak English, but this is the people who are very active on social media and send me every day, did you see this guy? This is the best hip hop in the world, but he speak kind of bullshit, so sometimes I have the
But the
problem
beat
with
was hot.
these
But the beat was
with
hot.
with, with these people, like we love it, but we don't understand nothing, like nothing,
Here, let's take a great example. Classic song, Naughty by Nature, OPP.
Yes,
People sing it, Czech people sing it word for word and have no idea of what the song's about.
yes,
It's a cheater's anthem.
yes,
And when I tell Czech people, like, and they're like, what? And I'll break down the words for them, like, yeah, it's like it's like you're singing a song that you're glorifying cheating. And they're like, what are you talking about? Other people's property or other people's pussy. This is what you're
exactly.
talking about. And they're like, huh? Like, yeah, you're singing a song. You down with OPP? You're like, yeah, I'm down cheating on my husband. Like, no, Chuck, no. I was like, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's what
yeah,
you're singing.
yeah.
And no, I'll play the song when I'll verbatim break down the sentences, and they're like, Tivola,
Tivole,
it's like, Tivola,
Tivole.
you're like, I had no idea. I was like, yeah, because it's a hot song, and you know,
Sometimes I think if they listen to this song in Czech, they will be confused, Like sometimes in the radio, I would like to play the Ain't No Fun from Doggy Style,
oh.
you know, Ain't No Fun.
No, it's hilarious. My tw- 12 years ago, I was playing a street ball tournament. It's street ball tournament. It's a family affair. DJ's playing it. There's all type, it's from babies, mothers, to up to 50-year-olds playing basketball. And they played that song.
Okay,
And I'm sitting there like, what the?
okay.
It's like, and I'm sitting there freaking out. And I'm like, and everybody's looking at me, Chuck, what's going on? I'm like, they're playing The Homies Can't Have None. If the homies can't have none. And they're like, we don't get it, Chuck. And I was like, and I started, guess who's back in the motherfucking house with a fat dick for your motherfucking mouth? And they're like, huh? Huh? I was like, yeah, I was like, there's little kids running around. I was like,
Yes,
if this happened in America, there would be a black mother beating somebody's ass. It
yes,
was like, you can't play
yes,
this when kids are around. So it's
yes.
just funny that you said that
And
because
and after that, this DJ play shit like from Too Short or Two Life Crew.
blow the whistle.
Blow the whistle. Exactly.
Oh no.
And
No.
I see it's a music. It's okay, but maybe like I said, sometimes I have the problem with like you don't understand nothing. And it's 2020 fucking 6. You can go to fucking Genius, use the chat GPT, listen to some podcast, the guys who broke the lyrics, everything. It's everything is on one fucking click on the internet, but you live for underground forever, hip hop forever, like maybe Sean P killed somebody. Like you love some guys, but like Onyx, they use the guns on fucking MTV Awards, live on direct on the stage, like real guns, and
I mean,
etc. etc.
like
etc.
like 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 Wu-Tang, like especially like with Ghost and Meth. I mean not Ghost and but he's part of it also. But like our Ghost and Raekwon, is like La Costa Nostra, they were
Yeah,
they were serious advocates for cocaine,
yes.
you
And
know.
I get it. I get it. But if you know, it's like forever underground, real hip hop. We love Biggie. Yes. Fuck bitches, get money. But you love the storytelling. You love this story, the life, But the lyrics was like started from the bottom, now we here.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
maybe if you listen to Biggie's lyrics in the Czech, you don't like it and say it's commercial, maybe. I don't know now. You know?
Hmm.
It,
Hmm.
this is
Oh,
my problem.
that
That's
sounds like
all.
an interesting. That sounds like an interesting focus group. It's
Yes.
like I'd watch that. Like
I
okay.
think if you go to hip hop camp, you see a lot of these people. And I don't have the problem with the hip hop camp with the people, but when I see the big crowd to cheering to groups like Onyx, groups like sometimes
Just throw your
Jedi
gun
Mind
up
Tricks.
in the air.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes this is my problem, but I get it. It's the same if we are go to see the fucking Iron Maiden and you don't know nothing, and it's okay. But sometimes it's like really, really, and you
I,
pretend on social media you are the number one hip hop fan in the world.
I guess I take it a different. I take it a different way because like the last 2 years before it stopped, or 3 years before it stopped, I was a photographer at hip hop camp,
Yes.
and so I wouldn't go to back to the hotel till like 4. I'd be kicking it with the people. And beside, all the youngins who want to smoke blunts with me, I was like, I don't smoke blunts anymore. It was like I converted. It was like before I came to Europe, I was pure blunts. And
Yeah.
then when I came here, it just didn't make sense. But it's like the how can I have negativity for people? And it's like I'm a person who reads energy in people. And even though they're ignorant as far as where it comes from, the intention of the the joy they have of being around me.
Yes. And once again, I don't have any problem with hip hop camp and show like that. But I think this generation who usually don't speak or understand English love this like type of music, like some
It's the
underground.
energy. It's the
It's
energy that
energy.
it's
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
energy that they, and that's the whole thing why I don't have a problem with they vibe. It's it's
It's a
like
vibe.
if you ever seen the movie Sinners, the vampires were drawn to that energy, to that
Yeah.
energy. They could feel it, and they might have not it might not have been theirs, but they could feel that energy and they want it in. And that's how I see a lot of these young kids. They see this energy and they're like, wow, and they want a piece of it. They want to be a part of it. They don't know what it's about necessarily fully, but they enjoy it. And and it's like, go back to can I live? It's like they enjoy it, and I appreciate it because they enjoy it. And and I try not to, because I'm 51 now. Oh, when I
Oh,
was in my mid 20s, oh, I was anal. Oh, I was anal. We shitted on, early 20s. We shitted on KRS-One for doing a Sprite commercial. Oh, he don't sold out. He don't sold out. It was like but
I think it's the same everywhere, and it was the time like in early 90s. If you break the rules, like now you are the sold out. Now it's a like another Mac meal, many Travis Scott bullshit. You know,
Doing
like
concerts for Fortnite, you know, it's like it's
yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Yes,
ain't mad at payola. I ain't mad
yes,
at that's what the record industry did to them. You know, all those artists, that's what the record industry did. They still, you know, if they don't have going to the record industry and you don't have a sound lawyer, they're graping you, you know. It's so, you know, and I also once I entered the music industry and I started breaking down and understanding what really was going on, the marketing, you know, because I felt bad a lot of times for for marketing hip hop, you know, marketing these brands.
yeah,
And you know, I felt, am I a demon for making money off pushing this music?
yeah.
You know,
So
so
if you bring the topic, the music industry, so let's watch this video. Wait a minute. Do you know La Russell?
Laurel so
Yes,
Laurel.
from the Bay. No,
Mm-mm.
okay. So this happened.
30 within my community. We was 30,000. My first is start. I would have top 5, and I was like, get it. And I get a call called Luminate works with Billboard. They decide start saying those 30,000 units, and they come back and
So he sold 30,000 units.
Yes.
And they and Billboard didn't acknowledge him.
No.
How did he sell 30? Because the way he sold the 30,000, the way he sold.
Uh, it's a in the States it's a platform called Even. It's a new platform, and you can sell music on this platform. And some famous people bought this album for $10,000. For example, Snoop Dogg, some NBA player, etc., etc. And La Russell is young guy from it's near to Oakland. It's called fucking E40 is from ooh,
But I'm
small.
familiar with LaRussell. I know he got like, I think Kyrie Irving gave him like
Yes,
$11,000.
exactly,
Right?
exactly, exactly. So this is the guy, and he built his career from his backyard. So and now he sold 30,000 units, but the Illuminate said the problem is you make the marketing. You call the people, hey, buy my album, and this is the problem.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, but some people now hate him because he signed with the Jay-Z for Rock Nation
Yeah,
distribution. You know?
yeah, after
Yes, yes. But
after.
it's funny the the billboard industry don't fuck with you because what you make the marketing. You know, like
But then they come to you once they see.
imagine if Jay-Z call you and say, "Hi, thank you for buying my album." What's the problem? You know, like, and it's happened every day in this industry. So
Well,
it's
I
funny.
mean, when you say the subject like that, the biggest story that I remember is Slim Thug.
Okay.
You know, Slim Thug went platinum out of his trunk in Texas. And that's how he got his deal. Because everybody from Texas, you know, was calling, you know, like, man, y'all need to get up on this dude, Slim Thug. And they were like, well, it's this Texas rapper. And it was like, dude went platinum. It's like, how'd he go platinum? Distributing, distributing himself. He don't care. You know, he's already made his money. You know, he went platinum out of his trunk.
Yeah.
He no middleman. And you know, the record labels went running to him, and that's how he got his deal. So it's kind of interesting, you know. There, so now it sounds like they're penalizing. Billboard is penalizing because he didn't go through the proper channels of spending money through them.
Exactly. And I think, but the sad thing is, I think Universal tried to both the even. And my hope was like, okay, it's a new platform for the independent artist, but Universal and Live Nation try to both everything, you know. So
Yeah.
it's really hard. The one topic from these days is, did you see the video? The singer from Smashing Pumpkins said rap killed rock.
So I know he's from Chicago. What's his name?
Uh,
I can't think of his name. Corey? No.
Billy
Yeah,
Corgan.
yeah.
Yes,
There we go. I knew it was yeah, and I know he's from Chicago. Yeah, I could. He said hip hop killed rock.
yes,
Huh?
and that's
What kind
some
of rock? What you know?
conspiracy. CNN did it. CIA did it, not CNN. Sorry.
I
So
mean, I mean,
after
because the
that,
thing is, the
I send you the
CIA,
video.
the
Mhm.
CIA killed conscious rap. You know, I've never heard the rock part, but I've from the '90s to the early 2000s. You know, the CIA and the heads, they really pushed the negativity because black people were becoming too unified. You know, in the '90s, we all had the African. We were wearing cross color. We all had the pro Africa stuff
Zulu
on.
Nation.
Yeah, we were all trying
Yeah,
to unite, and that
yeah, yeah.
terrified America. You know, it was like if they, you know, like one of my favorite songs is from Lupe, "Dumb It Down." You know, it's like, you know, it's like, Lou there, they think they can be queens. They, you know, it's like, you know, these are real things in America. You know, the violent music when it goes to the white kids, it's just a fantasy. When it's pushed
Exactly.
to the black kids, it can become a reality. And you know, so it's man, that's what I think about. But that's interesting. Hip hop killed rock.
Okay, so maybe watch 30 seconds from this video.
Part of the reason we talk about it.
No voices coming through.
Lens to it that
Uh-huh.
takes concern rabbit that pocket purposely done. I think the first, and again, this gets wizard right. Say, well, how do you know who's the wizard? All I know is I saw the gravity. We're at MTV or around MTV. Suddenly they decided rock was out when rock was still right high up in. Billy says it was replaced by rap. I have things I find the
And continue. So
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
that's interesting. Exactly.
No, you know, just bringing up MTV. You know, it's the whole parallel that you know that CBS had to threaten MTV to play black music. You know, because they wouldn't play Michael Jackson's what Billie Jean in the '80s, and CBS had to threaten MTV. It's but would would there be a time period? Did they discuss a time period when this would have happened in MTV? Because you know,
Now,
like now, because I mean, MTV I guess is dead, but you know, like for me,
yeah, is that
MTV stopped playing music a long time ago.
exactly?
Uh, so I don't see how, and you know, and they went to the sets like it all it all segregated. So like for me, out of that thing, like I started watching oh, I miss it from America, VH1 Soul. You know, and it was like I just only watched, you know, I stopped watching that and only watched the black versions of what they were doing. You know, what
Yes.
Viacom was doing. So it was like MTV was boring because they went all reality and they
Yeah,
stopped
yeah.
playing music a long time ago. So I don't really understand of how
Yeah,
when
but
they
I think Billy thinks the golden age of MTV, and maybe they shift to play more the dance and hip hop, you know, and stuff like that.
well,
Okay,
because
so mhm.
I
The last
I
thing,
mhm.
before we end up this interview, and I have some news for people like which I like this week. Some Czech news, Czech hip hop news, you know. But
Okay.
the last thing is, and like I said, sometimes I had the problem with that. Now it's a 5 people online, and I think the reason is people don't understand. So my problem is you have tattoo on your chest like I love hip hop, but you don't watch this. I think for me very good conversation about hip hop, but fuck it, I don't understand. Go off. That's all. You know. So like I said, maybe this is my problem sometimes because I understand people love this music, love this energy, you know, listen to some crazy shit. That's all. But sometimes I said because uh, you are 51, I'm 46. We we live some, you know, stuff. We know the history. We see the hip hop came to the Czech Republic. Now we see the young generation and divide between young and old generation and stuff like that, you know. And sometimes it's sad for me. That's all. That's all. You know. No.
It's sad in American culture also. It's sad in you know, like I feel bad for the youngins who don't dance. Like for me, that's what I feel bad about when I go back to America. When I've gone to clubs and I'm talking to the girls, and you know, and it's guys up in VIP doing Instagram pictures of themselves, showing bottles, spending money, and it's like we used to go to club to hear my favorite DJs break new records, play music, talk with
I
women, and now the culture now for them is just status.
it's a battle service only, no dance floor. I think it's that. It's that. But you see now a lot of parties like the modern DJs, a lot of people around the DJs, like selection, the EDM stuff. You know, you see this type, but you mean the the old classic clubs, DJ break the record the second they play on the radio and stuff like that. I think it's dead because now it's a fucking TikTok from for them, you know. So they describe the music on TikTok. That's all.
Yeah, yeah. It's just I for me it's even worse than that. I think most of the people are being fed by Spotify, and the algorithm the algorithm is feeding them.
Yes.
And I guess to a certain degree that's why I do what I do, because I filter, like I was saying, I do my new music Tuesday, and you know it's only 2 hours, but I play 40 to 35 to 45 new songs every week, and I'm across the board. You know, whether you know, I have a big affection for K-pop. You know, and it's like people are like, oh, K-pop is horrible. And I'm like, no, it's like they've, you know, if you look at their history, they've been investing in black music. So I respect them because they've been investing. When when I really bought into K-pop, when I found out that Teddy Riley was doing so much production, and then it was like, poof,
Okay.
This is why I love this
Okay.
shit. I was like, this is when I started doing the research of who they've been hiring. You know, they're trying to buy Aristotle. You know, it was like for the last 20 years, K-pop, you know, people think it's a trend. No, they've been buying it in. They've been putting in the work, hiring quality people. Man, it was when I found out that Teddy Riley was a producer, doing executive producing and doing a lot of production for K-pop. I was like, oh, this is this. You
I
know, now
didn't
it
know
makes
it.
sense. Now
I
it makes
didn't know it.
sense, and that's
Wow.
now it makes sense. You know, it was like because I
Fake
love
news.
this. I love a lot of the R&B K-pop because it's not as I can listen to it with my daughter in English. It's not as it's you know it's not as a toxic, not toxic, but they're
Yeah.
just vulgar. Vulgar. It's not as vulgar. It's not
Okay.
as with the profanity.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so and it was like so for me, I listen to everything, and I appreciate music, and it's just interesting of how people are being fed music nowadays.
Yeah.
They, you know, and a lot of people they're not listening to albums. That's a big thing that I think is horrible. You know, it's like that's how you find out if you actually like, you know, and I think it's more women are different. I think the women listen to albums more than men
Okay.
because when
Okay.
like the women adore when the women you know like Maceo asked me a question. This is like what to say, like 15 years ago, Maceo was DJing at a club, and the promoter knew me. He knew I was in the business, so Maceo wanted to smoke.
Like
So he,
Maceo from De La Soul?
yeah, definitely Mace.
Okay.
So we're in the car smoke. I'm smoking with the promoter. He pulls me because he knows I'm industry and I'm not going to fan out. So I roll him a blunt. We talking, and he asked me a question, you know, and he asked me like, "What do you think of Common? Can he maintain?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's got a women fan base. He's unstoppable. Because women, you know, women are about motion. You know, like if a woman, like you know, now it's like it's the same way with like the DJs who buy vinyl. Women buy merchandise. They want to connect a little deeper. So women want to hear that album. I'm the same way. I want to hear the skits. I want to know your personality. You
Yes.
know, like a lot of people hate Logic, but I like Logic's albums because I like his in-betweens. I like his space adventures. I like the scientific stuff that he does
Yeah.
in his albums and stuff. I like his personality as far as his whole composition of an album. And a lot of people's music, you know, so for me, a lot of these people, like even the adults. So for me, it's hard to be critical towards the people who don't necessarily understand when the people who do understand, they don't appreciate the music that's being put out. They're not listening to the full albums. They're told this is the hot song, this is the hot song. When I hear the hot song, I go to album and I start from play and I
Yeah.
listen to the album.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like overall getting back to what we've been talking about overall, it's hard for me to be critical against Czech people and Europeans and stuff like that when Americans are just as ignorant. It's a
I know.
worldwide thing. It's a worldwide thing.
I know.
So it's
I
it's
know.
so
And I think we can talk for next 5 hours. So I think we can finish and make the part two because now I would like to say, yeah, because sometimes when I'm in Sacramento, people told me I only listen to people from the Sacramento. I don't know shit about people from St. Louis or Memphis or New York or Chicago, you know? Or we can talk about like, for example, when we said, okay, people listen to drill music, but maybe some people say like it's like the movie. It's like
well
if
then
you are watching
let's
the
you said
movie.
Chicago. You said Chicago. So you've heard of so like you got like Kanye, Common, Chance the Rapper. Those
Yes.
are South Side rappers. But then you got like Twister, Crucial Conflict, Do or Die. Those are West Side rappers. And you can hear like my New York friends, they think the West Side rappers are from the South.
Okay.
And then because the thing is the West Side would be a little, it's only like 15 kilometers away from each other. But the Western rappers, the West Side rappers, they're a little more grimy. They're a little more, and then the South Side, they're a little more pretty. They're a little more flamboyant, and it's like, this is like how you're saying, it's like in Chicago, we got different, you can stay in the city. You can stay in the city and it'll be a totally different vibe of the South Side don't mess with the West Side.
Yeah. But what I want to say is like some Czech people listen to some drill music, and if I talk with them about the lyrics, they told me, but it's like the movie, it's like the horrorcore movie, it's not personal. I don't get it. It's only the movie, and I watch it and I enjoy it. I don't know.
Or it's the gym music. It's the gym music, or
It's a gym music. Yeah.
It's like, it's like, kill that motherfucker. It's like,
Okay. So I think we can definitely do it the part 2. And if you want, stay with me, and I show some news which like I like it this week. Yes.
Okay, for sure. I'm here.
Perfect. So once again, thanks for everybody who support us or fucking buy my coffee. The first thing, nebo já to řeknu česky, album, který mě zaujal tento týden, tak je definitivně Carlo z Million Plus. This is the new album from Carlo. He's from label Million Plus. Like, do you know
Potscape.
Okay.
This is the same guy a couple years ago they were saying Free Carlo?
Yes. This is him. This is him. Exactly. And this album is like, if we put Alchemist, Larry June in one mixer, I think. Little bit Griselda, like slow Alchemist type of beats, but good lyrics. James Cole is there, fucking awesome. The Nintendo, great bars here. So I really recommend this album. It's really great. Congratulations. Perfect. Pio Squad, jenom kdo tady produkuje, tak běžte na jejich Instagram, dozvěďte se, že vlastně deska Punk is Dead bude vyjít na vinilu a je tam nějaký remix contest, můžete se všichni zapojit, myslím si, že to je zajímavý. The next one, my guys, Frank Sinatra from Vienna, Dexter, Saf Daddy, yes, the new album is finally here. You can pre-order the vinyl of their website, and I hope maybe this Sunday I will go to Vienna to make interview with Brank. So I will let you know.
Okay,
Betty Ford Boys, yes, exactly.
Oh no! I gotta, I did the New Music Tuesday. I gotta check. I like their production.
Yes. Selection put all of some their mixes, DJ mixes on Apple Music, because Selection is on Apple Music, and now you can listen some great DJ mix from Joe K, Sango, J-Rock from Beat Junkies, Jared Jackson, etc. Benji B, the fucking Benji B. It's on Apple Music, and it's a mix, like 1 hour mix, for example. So I really recommend you this mixtape from Selection. And I think that's all for this week. Perfect. So, Chuck, it's time to go.
Can I? And if you don't know who I am, I go by Chuck Diesel. Yeah, I broadcast on A few times on Czech radio. I'm a photographer. What I do want to promote is recently I've gotten a little harder into the content creator. Just started something on my YouTube, so it's like Chuck Diesel, just like I spell it, but Chuck Diesel 312, and it's a singles. It's called That Song, and I'm basically just highlighting just one song. It's under a minute, and just highlighting music, just
Yes.
the things, main songs that I like. So I just wanted to pull up that.
And the first is you put today, and the first one is about
Oh, the
which
first one
song?
was R&B. Brent James.
Okay,
Uh,
next one.
Samara Sin.
Samara Sin? Okay, perfect.
Samara Sin. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
and so just it's gonna be a touch of new music and just some of my favorite songs that I think you should know.
yes. And everybody knows this one. And if you don't know,
Oh, I,
okay.
I
Thank you
appreciate the
so much.
time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and we can definitely make it part 2 because I think it was very interesting. And for the next time, maybe bring some another people, maybe Simons or some people from Czech Republic, and talking about, for example, UK or what happened in US now, the fucking ice, and maybe some different between New York, because some people from New York think we are the New Yorkers. That's all. We are the
Oh,
kings. It's really hard sometimes speak with New Yorkers because it's very hard. It's like mm, we are
so
the New Yorkers. Mhm.
I guess as a Chicagoan, you 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 deal with more of the Bay. For me as
Yes,
Chicagoan, I'm middle base, so the port cities are where everything comes from. So I've always had to go and talk with the New Yorkers. I've always had to deal and talk with the LA, and then for us also the South, Atlanta. So it's like I've always, at Chicago, that's why we always do well, because we associate with everybody. So we always have an interesting perspective. And a lot of them don't come to us. The New Yorkers, they don't have to come to Chicago. Everything goes through them, and then they pay us to do what they need to do. The LA, they do what they do, and they pay us to come, because they can't come here, or they can't come to Chicago and do what they need to do because they don't know the people, and we have a different type of attitude. So yeah, but so like for me, I'm a lot more. Yeah, I love going to the New Yorkers because they love to talk
okay,
shit.
yeah,
They love to talk, and it's
okay,
the West. I love the same thing. You go out to LA, and it's people are just a lot more chill, laid back. It's like,
exactly. Because my good friend from Oakland, he's originally from New York. He's the MC called Fresh Daily, and he's from New York. And he told me when I moved to Oakland, it was completely different because in New York, it's like
yeah,
that.
Red
In the
Bull.
Bay, it's like we will see. We will see.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah. So
slow. It's a complete different approach. So it's
laid back, laid,
laid back.
laid back.
Yeah,
Yo,
exactly. Okay, I have to go.
for
Thank
sure.
you so much, and
Salute.
we see you soon. Díky všem, kteří tady byli. Možná vás to i bavilo. Díky, že se koukáte a slyšíme se opět příští pondělí. Salut. Bye.
Yo, ciao. De
Yo.
Bruno.